Okay, welcome back to episode 4 of Programming in C++ with Andy. Today we'll be going over operators. Now, what are operators? Operators are like symbols or keywords that perform operations on variables and values. The four groups of operators are arithmetic. Oop, that's not how you spell. Arithmetic, assignment, comparison. Oh boy, I gotta work on my spelling. And logical. Okay, so we'll go over the first group of operators. So arithmetic operators. These are just like operators that you use in math. They're just used to form really common mathematical operators. So for example, 4 plus 4. That plus is an operator. 7 minus 0. That's also an operator. Cool thing about Visual Studio, if we actually hover over this, we'll see the result that we get in the operator. Yeah, see, so here we get 8, here we get 7. This works for a lot of things, so I would play around with it. It's actually really interesting. Like it even tells us like the type it is. Sorry, I got off track. And then of course we use a asterisk for multiplication and then a slash for division. So these are like the four most common ones just in math in general. Like the plus, minus, multiplication, and division. But there's also actually two that are like I've only seen in programming. And the first one is the modulus. Now the modulus returns the division remainder. So if I say 7 modulus 3, this is actually going to give us 1. Because it's whatever, 7 divided by 3 is 2. And then the remainder is 1. And then the next one is, let's go ahead and create an integer x for this one. It's basically just this plus plus operator right here. Or actually, I think it's the other way around. And we go ahead and initialize that to 0. And basically this just increases x by 1. So it's going to output 1, yeah. And then, sorry, I don't know why this is down. Oh, I don't know where that is now. Okay, that's going to bug me. But if we do this again, what do you think it's going to print? It's probably going to print out 2 because it actually saves the memory. Yeah, it printed out 2. Let's go ahead and add a nice little new line character just for habit. Okay, and then there's also a decrease one. So decrease operator, and then this just decreases by 1. I probably don't even have to show you, but yeah. Okay, and then the next group of operators, so we'll go ahead and call these ones arithmetic operators, right? The next group of them is assignment operators. These aren't as common in C++, except for one of them. One of them is going to be the most used operator ever, probably. And it's the copy operator, which we learned about in the variables episode. Let's go ahead and say float m is equal to 1.1. And this right here is our copy operator. Very interesting. Next one is the plus equals operator. This one is basically the same thing as writing out. Let's just go ahead and test this. Basically, it's the same thing as writing out m is equal to m plus 1. So basically, it's going to return whatever value it was before. So let's go ahead for simplicity, and we'll change this back to an integer. And then we'll just see out m, so I can prove to you guys that I'm not making this up. So it should give us 5, right? We can go ahead and comment this out. It should give us 5. And then if we run this instead, And it's also going to give us, what do you think? Probably 5. Yeah, so same thing. You can really use either, but this is here if you need to. But sometimes I find that's a bit confusing for my simple brain. And then this exists in all the basic arithmetic ones. So there's minus equals 1, times equals 1, and divided equals 1. And it all does the same thing. It's like, yeah. We'll go ahead and change these to 2. And now actually there's a lot more than just these 4. But I won't be showing them because they're really not used that much. So you can Google them if you want to know them, but they're not really used that much. The next group of operators is the comparison operators. And these ones are used a lot more. They're used to compare 2 values. So the best example is our bigger than value. You probably know this from math, of course. And these will all return booleans. So there's 2 ways we can figure out what this operator does. If we hover over it and hover over it, it will say bool true because 5 is bigger than 2. And if we really wanted to see it, then we could print out can we print out this? Oh wait, it's close. W. I wonder if this will work. I kind of doubt it. Oh, maybe it will. Wow, you learn something new every day. And actually it will print out. So remember. Okay, remember. In C++, it doesn't actually return the word true or false. Instead, it gives it a 1 or a 0, right? It represents false as 0 and true as 1 when we're outputting booleans. So we can actually use a special keyword called the word bool alpha to toggle printing out true and false as actual words. So if we go ahead and say cout bool alpha like that, and then print this out, it will print out. Instead of printing out 1, it will print out true. And then if we want to go ahead and toggle that off, we just say no bool alpha. It's kind of like a switch. And then I'll go ahead and print it. Again, just to prove to you guys I'm not lying. Who knows? This could all be fake. And then it prints out 1 instead of true, which is really cool. But back to comparison operators. So there's the copy comparison operator. There is the equals to. So let's say is 4 equals to 4. We go ahead and check. Yes, it is true. Is 4 equals to 5? Yes. Common mistake that you'll have is that you'll put 2 equal signs instead of 1 when you're like initializing a variable, or when you're trying to compare them, you'll do just 1. Is really common. But Visual Studio will give you a really easy error saying like expression must be a multiple value. Or up here it'll give you expected a semicolon. Interesting. Yeah. The next one we have is not equals to. So is 4 not equals to 5? True. Is 4 not equals to 4? False. Next one, or the next 2, I guess, we'll just do less than and bigger than. So again, we can just check using Visual Studio. False, true. And then, actually, let's go ahead and modify these. So then we have less than or equal to, and bigger than or equal to. And I just made a really simple error, which is figuring out the order of where to put it. The best way I've like realized is like just kind of like if you say the words, it's like bigger than or equal to, right? So like obviously this, the equal sign was first, it would be named equal to or bigger than, or equal to or less than. But you don't really say that. You say less than or equal to or bigger than equal to. That's how I remember it. Maybe if you're smart, you can just memorize it, but that's it's an option for the less smart people like me. Okay, the last group is the logical operators. These operators also return booleans, and the names of them actually make sense logically. Haha. The operators are, the first logical operator is the AND operator, which is symbolized by two ampersands, these symbols. And these logical operators are used in turn with other operators. Like, typically it's going to be the comparison operators. So, for example, let's say x is bigger than 5, or let's say if 4 is bigger than 5 and 3 is less than 2. So if both of these conditions are met, this is going to give us true or false. So is 4 less than 5? Yes. Is 3 less than 2? No. If we go ahead and switch that to 1, it's going to be true. This is going to be a lot more useful when we go over conditions next episode. But for now, it's just good to know them. The next one is OR operator. So if 4 is bigger than 5, or it's just these two lines on your keyboard. It's kind of weird. Or 2 is less than 3. So because one of these conditions is met, it will return true. But if we go ahead and said that, then this is actually going to be false because neither of these conditions are met. Okay, so the last of the logical operators is the NOT operator. The NOT operator is actually pretty weird. So if we go ahead and create this boolean called P. So P is equal. So basically the role of the NOT operator is it reverses the return of pretty much anything else. So for example, if we go ahead and take this statement, right, this is going to give us false, right, because this is the AND operator, and both of these conditions aren't met because 3 isn't less than 2. So if we go ahead and put this in brackets, we go ahead and see out P. It's going to give us 0 because it's false. But if we go ahead and use the NOT operator, which is the exclamation mark, we go ahead and hover over it, you'll see that it actually turns into true. And then if we go ahead and see out this now, it becomes true. Basically, the NOT operator really just reverses any result. It's really strange. Okay, so here are the questions for today. You can pause the screen and try them, and then we'll go over the solution together. Okay, so what are the 4 groups of operators? The 4 groups are arithmetic, assignment, comparison, and logical. Use one operator from each group. This one's kind of a tough question, but it's good practice. So that's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And that's 4. Okay, so remember, this one's from the assignment group. It's just a copy operator. This one is from the comparison group, remember, because we're comparing a value. And then this will obviously return a boolean. If we go ahead and hover over this. Sometimes it doesn't work great. I don't really know why. But we can go ahead and just see out the outputs here, I guess. Okay. And let's go ahead and see what we get. Alright, so we should get sorry. let's go ahead and see what we get. So first off, is bool p bigger than 5, or is x bigger than 5? And then we assign that to p, and then we see out p. False. 5 is not bigger than 5. 5 is equal to 5. And then we just do x plus 5, and then we see out x. And it's actually not actually doing anything. It's only printing out 5 because it's not actually saving this. It's just performing this operation. If we wanted to, we could do this. This will save it, right? Because it's the same thing as like redefining it as that. But yeah. And then 1, because remember, x is not less than 5, but then we have our not operator. So if this returns a false, this will make it so it's a true. Good, okay. Use one operator from each group in the same line. This one's a little more difficult, but not really. So we can go ahead and create this variable. Let's say 12. Okay, and then we'll create another variable. And then we'll see. So use one operator from each group. So we already have our copy operator, pretty easy. And then let's do our comparison operators. So it's O bigger than 12. And then we'll do the logical operator of not. Also pretty simple. And then we can go ahead and see out W. See if this works. So are we meeting all our criteria? Well, we have a copy operator. We don't have an arithmetic operator. So let's say is O minus 1 bigger than 12? And then also I want it to return the opposite. So we have our assignment, we have our arithmetic, comparison, and then logical. Let's go ahead and print out COW. And this should give us true, because remember, 12 minus 1 is 11. 11 is not bigger than 12. So this gives us false. But then we reverse the output. Good. Go ahead and copy that out. Or comment that out. What is the keyword to print Boolean as text? The word is bool alpha. I guess it's 2 words. But remember, it's a switch. So you turn on bool alpha. I can go ahead and copy that. And copy that. That true. And then to turn it back off, we just say cout no bool alpha. Pretty intuitive. And then it will still give us true because we didn't move it. Use the not operator to reverse the result of a Boolean result. Okay, so we can just go ahead and comment this out, and let's create a new variable, true m, and then set it to true. Right, so our Boolean m is now true, and then we can go ahead and cout m. What do you think this will give us? Well, it will give us 0. It will give us false because the not operator is applied during this operation. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.